Rain tapped on the windshield like fingertips that would not stop. The wipers moved slow, fighting the fog on the glass, and the road ahead looked like a long, gray ribbon sinking into the trees. Adam drove with both hands tight on the wheel. He had finished a late shift at the repair shop, the kind where you are tired but still listening for every strange sound in the engine. The heater hummed, and the smell of damp work gloves filled the cab. As he rounded a bend near the old creek bridge, his headlights caught something low and pale on the shoulder. Not a branch, not a trash bag. It moved. Adam eased off the gas. The tires whispered over wet pavement as he pulled onto the gravel. The rain got louder the moment he turned off the road, like it had been waiting for him to stop. He leaned forward, squinting through the glass. A small cat, soaked through, stood near the ditch with its back arched, trying to look big. It was maybe a year old, white with muddy streaks and a dark smudge on one ear. It did not run. It just held its ground, blinking hard as water ran off its whiskers. Adam opened his door. Cold air rushed in and the rain hit his face. He shut the door behind him gently, like loud sounds might break whatever fragile courage was holding the cat in place. "Hey," he said, keeping his voice low. The cat stared at him, chest moving fast. It took one step back, then stopped, as if its paws had decided the ground behind it was worse than the man in front of it. Adam's eyes followed the line of the ditch. A cardboard box sat half-collapsed near the weeds, its sides soft and sagging from the rain. It looked like someone had tried to wedge it under a bush. A strip of tape still clung to one corner, and a torn piece of plastic flapped like a little flag. He swallowed and crouched down, the wet gravel soaked into his jeans. "Did someone leave you here?" he whispered. The cat's tail flicked once. It did not answer, but it did not bolt either. Its ears turned toward him, then toward the woods, as if it was listening for something that was not there. Adam reached into his truck for a towel. He had one behind the seat, stained with old oil marks and washed 100 times. He held it out like a peace offering. The cat leaned forward 1 inch and sniffed the air. Then it shook its head, spraying tiny droplets, and backed away again. Adam stayed still. He waited. He let the rain do its talking. After a long moment, the cat took a cautious step toward the towel. It did not touch it. It simply stood close enough that Adam could see its ribs under the wet fur. Its eyes were a soft yellow, wide and tired. Adam's throat tightened. He kept his hands low and slow, then placed the towel on the ground between them. "Okay," he murmured. "You can have that. I'm not going to grab you." The cat looked from the towel to his face, then lowered its body and pressed its chest to the ground like it was trying to become invisible. Still no running. Just a surrender that was not trust yet, but something close to it. Adam glanced up the road. No other cars, just rain, trees, and the sound of the creek somewhere beyond the guardrail. He reached toward the box by the ditch, careful not to move too fast. Something inside it shifted. Adam froze, hand hovering. The cat's head snapped toward the box, ears forward. It made a short sound, not quite a meow, more like a small warning. Adam lowered his hand again, heart thumping. The box moved once more, just a faint bump from within, like a slow breath. "There's something in there," Adam said, mostly to himself. He edged closer and lifted the soggy top flap with 2 fingers. A pair of eyes looked up at him from the dark. Not a cat. A dog, medium-sized, muddy and drenched, curled tight with its paws tucked under its chest. It did not growl. It did not lunge. It only stared as if it had been holding still for a long time, trying to save energy. Its collar was still on, a faded blue one, but the tag was gone. Adam held his breath. The dog's nose twitched and it licked its lips once, slow and careful. Behind Adam, the cat took a step toward the box, not toward Adam, toward the dog. Adam watched, stunned, as the cat crept closer with tiny, measured steps. It stopped at the edge of the box and looked in. The dog's eyes flicked to the cat, and its tail made one weak thump against the cardboard. Not fear. Not anger. Recognition. Adam's mind tried to catch up. 2 animals left out here together. a cat guarding the ditch, a dog tucked inside a collapsing box like it had been told to stay. Adam could not stand the thought of driving away. Not tonight, not in this weather. He backed toward his truck slowly, not taking his eyes off them. "I'm going to get you warm," he said. The dog's ears lifted a fraction. The cat stayed by the box like a small sentry. Adam opened the back door and pulled out an old blanket from behind the seat. He unfolded it with shaking hands, and the rain soaked into it right away. He walked back and laid the blanket on the ground, then sat down in the gravel a few feet away, making himself smaller, less threatening. "Come on," he whispered, "just a little closer." The dog did not move. The cat did. It stepped onto the blanket first, placing one paw, then another, testing it. Then it turned and stared at the dog, holding that look like a message. The dog's head lowered. It shifted forward inch by inch, dragging itself out of the box. When it reached the edge, it paused, too tired or too unsure to make the last step. Adam moved his hands to his knees so they were visible. He did not reach out. He waited. The cat walked back to the box and rubbed its side against the dog's shoulder, quick and firm. The dog blinked, then finally stepped onto the blanket. Adam let out a breath he did not realize he had been holding. "Good," he said softly. "That's good." He inched forward and lifted one corner of the blanket, making a loose tent over them to block the rain. The dog flinched but did not run. The cat sat still, watching Adam's hands closely, ready to bolt if it had to. Adam spoke quietly as he wrapped the blanket around them, not tight, just enough to cover their backs. The dog shivered and then leaned, just a little, into the warmth. The cat's eyes narrowed, not in anger, but in a kind of exhausted focus, like it was keeping count of every breath. Adam reached for his phone with one hand and turned on the flashlight. The beam caught a small detail on the dog's collar. Not a name tag. A piece of fabric tied to it, like a strip torn from a larger cloth. It was knotted carefully, almost like someone had tied it in a hurry but still cared enough to make it hold. Adam angled the light closer. There were letters on the fabric, written in black marker, smudged by rain but still readable. Adam's stomach dropped as he sounded them out under his breath. "Please take them." His voice faded as he stared at the last word, half washed away. The cat suddenly stood up, ears pricked, eyes fixed past Adam's shoulder toward the trees. The dog lifted its head too, alert for the first time. Something moved in the darkness beyond the shoulder of the road. Adam turned slowly, the flashlight beam shaking in his hand. And then he heard it. A faint sound under the rain, coming from the brush near the creek, like a small chime or a tag tapping against something metal. Adam tightened his grip on the phone and leaned forward to see. The cat took one step toward the trees, as if it knew exactly what was there. And Adam realized the message on the collar might not be the only thing someone left behind.